A few days before Christmas at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii, a conference was held by Major General Fred C. Wayand, Commanding General, 25th Infantry Division, Brigadier General Glenn D. Walker, Assistant Division Commander Maneuvers, on the left, and Brigadier General Edwin H. DeSaucier, Assistant Division Commander Support, on the right.
Glenn, Ted, I get the impression from reading some of this informational traffic that we're getting, as well as the news reports, that we may be very close to receiving a deployment order here. And I think we've got a good SOP. We've been through this many times, and training exercises and one thing and another. But I believe we ought to review that SOP for deployment, and particularly get the staff to give us a up-to-the-minute evaluation of our tactical readiness and our material readiness. I'd like to pay particular attention to these lessons learned in Vietnam. Glenn, what do you think from the tactical side? Are we pretty well up on this?
Well, as you know, we placed a great deal of emphasis on lessons learned in Vietnam. So actually, from an operational point of view, I think we're ready. However, we continue to have a small input of replacements, which I think requires that we emphasize small unit tactical training, the squad and the platoon echelon. Now, this, of course, should include night firing, fire control, and emphasis on the chain of command.
Well, I sure agree with that. I think if we only have 2 or 3 weeks left, there's a tremendous amount that we can do on this score that you're talking about, particularly at that squad and platoon level. I'm wondering about the logistics side, Ted. How do you think we can incorporate these things, or are we incorporating them in our plans?
I think we are. We've been, as you know, cataloging all the experience that we can lay our hands on by letters and messages from Vietnam. We've been cataloging the things we need, both in the TO&E category, where we need increases on those scores, and on the non-TO&E items. Examples of increased lumber requirements, nails, such things as extra hand tools and things like that. And we have been cataloging and making up our requirements on it.
In accordance with the decisions of their commanders, and in anticipation of possible deployment to South Vietnam, men of the 25th Infantry Division, the U.S. Army's reserve force in the Pacific, were sent through a stepped-up training program designed to prepare them for the type of combat they could expect in Vietnam. These men, undergoing tactical training in all phases of the 4.2 mortar, illustrate the type of refresher training they received, including such basics as setting the proper charges. Setting charges and giving fire commands might prove a little different once they got to Vietnam, but U.S. infantrymen who had preceded them there were in agreement on one basic fact. Mortars have been found to be of great value from the Mekong Delta to the jungles to the Central Highlands. Training in setting charges was especially important for new men assigned to the division. As the refresher training was accelerated, the infantrymen of the Tropic Lightning Division became increasingly proficient in their mortar drill. If and when the time came for the move to Vietnam, these crews would be ready. Also found to be effective in the jungles, swamps, and highlands of South Vietnam is the 105mm howitzer. It has proved especially valuable because of its capability of being airlifted by helicopter across impassable terrain. Here, a member of a 105 crew laid on the target. And the weapon was fired. The crew fired several rounds in what was both training and a demonstration of their rapid-fire capability. Virtually all tactical training would be repeated at night to prepare the crews for night combat in Vietnam. As the training mission continued, the battery's executive officer gave a fire order, and a member of the crew recorded the fire data. The division's 105 and mortar crews were only two examples of the tactical training the men of the 25th would undergo up to the day they received orders to deploy to Vietnam.